town of Owerri, there lived a wealthy man named Obi South. He was a man of many faces. To the world, he was a distinguished businessman, a philanthropist who founded schools and hospitals across Nigeria, a loving father to his children, and a devoted husband to his wife, Kamsi. Every month, his bank account saw substantial wire transfer to the American money for his family's upkeep, for his children's education, for the life they deserved. Obi South provided himself on the distance he maintained between his public persona and the secret he kept locked away in the shadows of his mansion in Owerri. But behind the closed doors of his luxurious home, there was another story. Obi took away his wife and children out of Nigeria because of the attitude he portrays. People kept wondering how he got the huge money he spent. Obi traveled to different types of countries. He spent money mainly on girls. He was a very lovable man with dark soul. He had a lot of girls that visit him on a daily basis. His wife, Kamsi, was not aware of his husband's attitude towards young girls. Obi can pay girls huge money only to visit and spend some days with him. Some of his estate neighbors began to wonder how he brings girls on a daily basis. However, inside, Obi's grand halls were filled with women, young beautiful women, drawn to him like moths to a flame. They came for the promises he made, money, comforts, opportunities beyond their wildest dreams. They arrived with high hopes, unawares of the dark fates that awaited many of them. Obi was a predator. He carefully constructed his empire, built on the backs of vulnerable women from various parts of Nigeria, and some even from other African nations. The allure of money was strong, and Obi capitalized on that, luring girls from all walks of life. They were told they could stay in his mansion, be pampered, enjoy the finest luxuries, everything they had dreamed of. What they didn't know was that this was a calculated scheme to feed his dark appetites, a ritualistic practice rooted in the ancient beliefs of power through sacrifice. For years, Obi had carried out his crazy ritual, each one bringing him more wealth, more influence. Each girl who disappeared, lost to a fate of horror, had been another step toward his ultimate goal, absolute power, riches beyond measure. They were nothing more than a puppet to him. Obi had been doing these evil rituals for years. He was living at the end of the estate, and this made people not to know that he's an evil person. One day, there was two beautiful ladies that came all the way from Abuja to be with Obi South. Obi boarded a flight for them. They came straight from Abuja to Obi South's duplex in Owerri, just to have fun and got paid. These beautiful girls were graduates. They are best of friends. They refuse to get work for themselves. Their names are Jessica and Priska. They are sweet, loving girls that love good lives. Priska's uncle Douglas got job for Priska and her friend Jessica, but they both refused to take the job because of the money they received from men. They believed that they were too beautiful to work. They traveled from one town to another, enjoying their lives and buying expensive clothes and shoes just to look good for their clients. Priska was the only child of her parents, while Jessica was the girl among her 4 brothers. They were pampered in their various families. When the two beautiful ladies got to Obi South's mansion, they noticed that he was living at the end of the estate, far from where others are living. But due to the trust that they had already with Obi South, they did not thought of the results of what would happen in case of anything. 3 days later of staying with Obi South, Priska began to notice some negative movements from Obi. The call he answered and the look on his face. The fourth day, Obi South invited two guys. He introduced them to the ladies. That night, he held a club in his sitting room. He ordered foods, meats, and drinks, different brands. Priska informed her friend Jessica to be conscious of the drinks that she would be taking in the night. But Jessica was not saying what her friend Priska was saying, and she refused to observe what was going on. In the night, during the club time, Jessica was dancing and drinking, while Priska was informing her to stop drinking. Priska was so smart, but Jessica was carried away with drinks. 30 minutes later, Obi entered one of the rooms with the boys and told them to be ready for the assignments. They planned on how to kill Priska and Jessica. Immediately, Priska rushed to Jessica and told her to get ready for them to escape. But Jessica, already drunk and unable to understand what was going on. Immediately, one of the guys appeared in the sitting room to observe what was going on, but Jessica was not understanding the kind of tragedy they were in. As the guy was trying to go back to the room where they are having meeting with Obi, Priska escaped through the back door and ran for her dear life. She left only with her phone, leaving Jessica there. After the meeting, Obi and his guys had concluded on how they will use them for rituals. But entering the sitting room, they met only but Jessica, looking drunk. Immediately, one of the guys rushed after Priska, but Priska had gone far. At the end, Jessica was used for the rituals. They killed and sold her pass as their business. This has been the source of income to Obi South. He was into selling of human parts. Once he succeeded, he shared the money to his guys and used his own to live large. He sent money to his family outside the country. They were living large over there, while Obi was in Nigeria committing crime, killing girls and selling their organs to make money. He was well known in the town. People respect him a lot. He shared money to the poor masses. But little did they know that he engaged in harvesting of human parts. Obi had different hotels in Owerri. He built schools for poor masses. Sometimes people wonder how he got his money. His friends gave him a name called Egomadi Agwagu. He had different cars in his car garage. One day, while Obi was going through his social media, he saw a picture of a beautiful girl with hip and a flat tummy. Immediately, Obi got attracted to her. He chatted her and the lady responded to Obi. They engaged on discussion. Obi thought it was all those girls that he normally talked to and they would succumb. But unknown to him that Tessy was a smart and also a stubborn fellow. However, the next day, Obi sent her 500,000 in her bank account just to buy whatever she would like to buy. Tessy accepted the money and she began to ask herself, what did I do to Obi that would warrant such generosity? She was amazed. Weeks later, Obi invited Tessy to come over his town for a little vacation. He promised to shower her with money and gifts. The next day, he booked a flight for Tessy and flew from Kaduna to Owerri just to be with Obi. But unknown to Obi that Tessy would change everything negatively for him. Tessy was different. She had come to Obi's mansion with dreams of a better life, unaware of what lay in store for her. She was sweet, innocent, and eager to please. But she was also smart, too smart to fall into Obi's web without questions. Over time, she began to see through the outside, the late night rituals, and the strange symbols on the wall of his room, and the noise of the innocent girls Obi had killed. She told herself that something wasn't right. The next day, Obi left Tessy all alone in the mansion to get something in the streets. That evening, she ventured through the mansion. Tessy stumbled upon a hidden room. The walls were adorned with strange markings, and the air felt thick, suffocating. She saw things that sent a chill down her spine. There, in the center of the room, lay the remains of the last girl Obi killed and didn't remember to dispose her body. Tessy became afraid immediately. She told herself that she had to escape, that her life was at risk. But it wasn't enough to simply run. She needed to expose him. It took her days of planning on how to escape and expose Obi. 3 days later, Tessy finally found her way out of the mansion. She reached out to the world, telling her story to anyone who would listen. She sent videos, shared photos, Obi's secrets. As the news of his crime spread, the walls of Obi's carefully constructed empire began to crumble. The police launched an investigation, and Obi, who had always used his wealth to escape the law, could no longer hide behind his money. He was arrested, but the damage had already been done. The people were furious. The city streets were filled with protesters, angry citizens demanding justice for the life Obi had destroyed. There were cries for revenge, for punishments fitting the crime. And in that moment, Obi knew that the world he had built would no longer protect him. His empire, built on lies and blood, had finally come crashing down. One fateful evening, as Obi was being transferred from one station to another, a mob of enraged individuals, many of whom he had once been entranced by his charm, pulled him from the car. They dragged him into the streets, stoning him to death. The wealthy businessman, once untouchable, now lay lifeless in the gutter, his life taken by those he had wronged. Guys, hope you find this story interesting. What moral lesson do you learn from this interesting story? What do you think that would have happened to Obi if Tessy didn't visited? Was it right the way Tessy exposed Obi South? Guys, let me see your comments and your opinions on my comment section. Please kindly subscribe to my channel at African Tales by Ifenkili. Like and share with family and friends. Guys, please turn on your notification button and stay tuned for more interesting and mind-blowing stories coming your way next time. Guys, remain blessed. Bye.